Definitely a competitive chassis, but again, the newer one, the E46. So great looking vehicles and definitely competitive. Horsepower wise, they're fairly equally matched here. Again, Novak and Power. So warming up their tires, the Cora Works E46, so Cora Works from Atlanta, Georgia.
And these gentlemen slotted in at 16th and 17th, and while the numbers really don't mean anything, it does dictate lead and chase driver for the first half of the run. And now we'll look for
guitar solo there, by the way.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Riffing, bro. Absolutely riffing. All right, so here comes Mr. Power. Great looking S15, man. I just love. Hey, if your car better be looking on point. You got some time, you know, like the old round one rush. Yeah, you were kind of buffering there for a while. The spinning wheel of death. As Mike Power now comes to the line. Here we go. Mike Power will lead Nick Novak, our first run of the 2020 FD season. It's almost been a year, a crazy, wacky season. Like I said, social distance off the track, but no social distancing on the track because they are practicing. You know, they got their helmets on, they got their suits. So, and have all the safety equipment. What's that?
I just saw the thumbs up there from Race Ops. We are ready to go here, Jared. Kick things off for the first time in 2020 after all the craziness. Let's make it happen.
All right, here we go. Let's send it here for the first time in 2020. Novak will lead and Power will give chase. Novak there in that E46 initiates right there, filling that outside zone. Doesn't look like Power gets all the way out there. Novak transitions into that second outer zone. Now they're going to tighten up. That is the one and only inside clip. Novak doing a great job there. Power seems to be falling off with that clean air. Nice job by Novak. Kind of checks up now. I would like to see a more fluid initiation into that last outer zone. Kind of direct beeline towards it, straighten it out, and then recorrect it. So, Ryan, what do you say about Novak and Power here?
Well, it started off as a pretty close run there. Power got kind of a little bit of a hiccup on that inside clip. And as we take a look at the replay, let's go through it. You can see a little bit of extension there, some difference. Novak was in that zone a bit deeper, got all the way into that second outside zone and pretty much filled it. You can see right there, Power's getting lost in the smoke. Almost a little bit of contact there into that inside clip, but then falls off, loses some ground here to Novak, who accelerates forward. That doesn't get that really good snap back to that outside zone, but you can see that Power was trying to make up ground there. As we go to the drone, take a look at the action right here. You can see the front end washes out a little bit, crunched up in that area, and Jared, we do see that happen quite a bit. Novak could have had a slightly cleaner lead run towards the end there. I'd like to see some snapback towards that final outside zone. I think Power there had a pretty sizable mistake, and now he's going to have to try to make it up here in his lead run.
Yeah, at that halfway point, looks like Novak, and then it threw Power off a little bit, so he had that correction. But it looks like now Power will lead Novak. We'll see if he's back in the back. All right, Power will be leading now, getting the fresh air. Speaking of fresh air, it's a beautiful day here. It's going to warm up to about 80-something today. A little bit of humidity. It rained last night, so we got a clean course. And here we go. Power initiates. First outside zone. See how the transition goes down. Very smooth by both the drivers. A wide swing by Power, then tightens it up. Got to about the 2.5 hash mark on that inside clip. Massive angle there from Power. Now transition that final outside zone. Novak doesn't really get all the way to the outside zone. I think that was an opportunity for him to really kind of seize that situation, that scenario. I don't think he did exactly what he needed to do. You know, again, a lot of jitters, a lot of nerves. These guys, you know, newcomers to Formula Drift, newcomers to the Link ECU Pro 2 Championship, but great looking cars and a great way to start. Just nice, clean run. Could be a little refined. Walk us through it.
Yeah, Powers this time out front. He's able to get just right at the edge of that zone. Novak sticking with him here, following the line. Great mimic here. Now, Power goes a bit wide there and allows Novak to tuck up on the inside, giving him that proximity. Now look at the mirroring effect here. This is a really great job by Novak in the chase position. However, he makes a little bit of a mistake there. And now the judges are going to be able to look at the mistake that Novak made in comparison to a couple mistakes that Power made in that first run. Let's take a look at it again. See the wide swing here?
And you can see Novak taking a tighter line there. So it kind of choked up Novak. And Power, good job on that second to last outer zone. Watch this transition. Power doesn't get all the way to the outside zone either. Novak definitely shallows up. Do you think this is going any direction here? Again, our three judges, Ryan Lontaine watching digitally, Brian Egger, and Chris Uhl here.
Well, I mean, I think to me, it seemed like Novak had a bit of an advantage after run 1 and run 2, just from an overall perspective. You know, the mistake that he made close to outside zone 4 was a good size mistake, but I don't know that it outweighs really the understeering effect that we saw in that inside clip. Now here we go, Jared.
All right, so Nick, I love the America. Going to the Canadian judge, Nick Novak, and it looks like, is it unanimous? And it is. Nick Novak gets the win. So Mike Power with that large mistake there at that halfway point on run 1. I think that was kind of over before it even began. So Nick Novak will advance in that BMW, the Coro Works BMW. You can see Koenig wheels on the corners, TireStacks.com. Achilles Tires, the official tire of the Link ECU Pro 2 Championship. Stoked to have Achilles officially on board, the official tire of the Pro 2 Championship. You can see the Link signage here in the background. Ryan, answer some questions, if you will. Anybody asking about people in attendance? I know you spoke to the Maximum Driftcast fellows, Paco, Corey, and Sam, but how was that being handled as an organization?
Yeah, so when we got to the point where we didn't know what was going to be allowed to happen as far as motorsport events in the United States, we had to reach out to partner tracks and figure out we need to be able to guarantee that we can do events, and where can we do that? And we found these 4 venues: St. Louis, Seattle, Irwindale Speedway, and Texas Motor Speedway. And from there, it's really going to be about what the local protocols are. So we're going to be doing these events either way, Jared. And for this weekend in St. Louis, fans are allowed, and we are very excited to have them out this weekend.
Looks like Josh Love and Daniel Stuke pulling to the line. And there it is, Josh Love and Daniel. Josh coming to us from Denver, Colorado, and Stuke from Lakeville, Minnesota, and here they go right from the start line, jumping right back into it. Thank you for clarification on the fans here in the building. Nice job there. Again, those BMWs, and it looks like almost a duplicate of what we just saw. Love in the track. You can see those front wheels stopping. Ooh, Stuke applying the pressure, that M-Spec Performance S chassis. Love, great transition, but Stuke not being wavered at all, man. Love the pressure being applied there, and that was a really good just check up, allow him to transition and get right to the door. I don't know what Love is saying to his vehicle, but definitely excited and feeling that one.
Yeah, I am actually really happy with the performance of both these guys, and from the first battle here, Pro 2 kicking things off in a pretty strong way. Josh Love, Daniel Stuke, Josh Love, our lead driver, out. Coming down that front straight, very short run up, but look at that, very deep into that outside zone, a little bit tighter line there by Stuke. Love back around, filling that outside zone perfectly, locking up the front wheel. Stuke keeping the pressure on side by side as they leave that inside clip, but Love really giving him a great opportunity to chase because he's got an awesome line here. Now he does come up a little bit short. He goes inside the outside zone, then falls out, and then goes back in again. But Daniel Stuke looking like a solid chase driver, Jared, really keeping the proximity close. Couple little tiny mistakes, but we really love to see that proximity, and we know that the judges do as well. However, one of the things that the judges told me that they want to focus on this season is really how do mistakes by the lead driver affect the chase? And coming out of Irwindale from last year, they really want to ding a lot more heavily what we saw against James Dean and Forrest Wang with the kind of lack of drifting that happened from Forrest, because what they want to say is that the chase driver responsibilities is you need to know who you're running against. If this is a slower driver, give him a little bit more room. Now, if it goes to it one more time and you don't give him that amount of room that you should have learned in from run 1, then maybe that's going to have an impact on the chase driver and how the judges judge.
Wow, another variable thrown into the equation. Daniel Stuke getting all the way to the outside edge of the track. Stuke now coming in tight, taking that, you can see him wrap, ooh, Love way too tight around that. So that's what you say, take into consideration that lead driver. Now they don't really have a record to go off of here going against each other. And we talked about that outside zone on the last outside zone. Stuke actually went beyond that. You can see it looks like he tapped the wall there on initiation on that last outer zone. And remember, the striped area, that is the edge of the course, not the literal edge of the course where the asphalt meets the grass. So keep that in mind with Stu going even deeper than he needed to be. That's essentially going off course, Ryan. So here we are taking a look at the replay up in the sky. You can see the arch off in the distance. Now Stuke out front, Love and Chase.
Yeah, does a pretty good job in his lead run there. Big angle coming out of outside zone 1. Here he is into outside zone 2. Just comes up a little bit short there. But watch Love in the background right here, or right on that inside clip. Goes way off course and really did not capitalize on an opportunity for a good lead run by Love by Stuke out front. So this is a much tougher battle here this time, Jared. You're seeing this big mistake here by Love in the chase position. Unfortunately, he was able to get back on
Stuke
it.
Here.
And then Stuke, as he gets into this outside zone, he's going to fill it. He's going to drop one tire there and pretty much stay on course. So I think the judges are really going to be weighing how big of that off course on that inside clip it was there, and how did it impact the overall run.
Man, I thought Stuke actually hit the wall on that last outer zone, but no, it was the cone that actually took out that tail light. And like I said, Stuke getting aggressive there. Love was that kind of similar to that of Power. And here we go. Looks like Love gets the advantage from, I believe, Eggert. Daniel Stuke gets Ryan Lontaine's vote, and one more time. So it's a split decision here, Ryan. So it is split decision across the board. It's a one more time battle between Love and Stuke. And this is a great opportunity for them to get more familiar with the course, whoever is advancing on. All right, you got it, you got one battle down, you're good. You might have lost a taillight, but you come out unscathed. So we'll assume they're gonna throw on some fresh Achilles tires, and we'll see them back here on the start line to do battle once again as they head back to the pit, Ryan. All right, so moving on to our next battle. Looks like it should be, again, Dustin Miles, the way he drew his card, he got slotted into that number 5 position right now. Joe Lynn versus Brian Wadman. Now, Wadman from Connecticut, had some words with him right before we jumped up here in the booth. Excited to see him drive. Ryan was talking about, and see there you see Josh Love, Daniel Stuke. So you can see the second row there down at the bottom, Joe Lynn versus Brian Wadman.
Yeah, hearing some good things about Brian in the hot pits. I don't know much about Joe. However, what we've seen so far, Jared, between the first 2 battles has actually been really positive overall. The proximity and the preparedness of these drivers coming into these matchups have seemed like they're off to the right foot so far this year. And it's going to be really exciting to watch this next battle. I
can't tell. Are the pro drivers out here taking note? So Joe Lynn coming to us from Hong Kong, 600 horsepower, are fairly equally matched in the horsepower. That's if they are telling the truth, to be honest. So Joe Lynn, 33 from Hong Kong in the E46, another BMW, and Brian Wadman, the classic supercharged LS S14. So again, Wadman, one of the few drivers that came up and said, "Hey man, what's going on? Nice to meet you. Happy to be here. You know." Liquimolly, S14, Connecticut, real humble dude, big dude.
Yeah, you came in on the red eye, right? You were the first time. This morning.
No, that's next round.
Oh, okay.
I'm taking a red eye to see.
So when did you come in?
Last night.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Joe Lynn out front, Brian Wadman in the chase position. Yeah, Lynn, massive angle there. Says driven on the door, and he is driven behind the wheel. Wadman looks like he's tempering the flame there, kicking back a little bit. He's never. Oh, Lynn with the massive correction there. Throws Wadman a little bit off, and now coming to that final outer zone, Wadman, that is going to be a massive deficit for Wadman to make up. Both of them having mistakes, but Wadman, that chase position, you saw that massive straightening there in that last outer zone. So let's take a look at it here once again as they'll head back to the start line. There's Wadman. Ryan, both of them have mistakes as we take a look at the run.
Yeah, let's take a look at Lynn here, because the focus is going to be after that inside clip. Gets a great jump. Wadman now playing catch-up. Let's see if he cuts the line. No, Wadman still stays on the line. I think he thinks he's got a lot of grip in the car, and he does. He catches up right here on this inside clip. Now, Lynn right here, the front end is going to wash out. A big, sizable mistake, and that is going to be a reinitiation where he came straight and had to reinitiate the vehicle. And then Wadman right there, big mistake, not able to finish the course under drift. So we may have 2 incomplete runs, and it may come down to this next run.
But the question for you is, Lynn's mistake out front, did that throw Wadman off of that kind of fluid motion going from that 3rd outside zone to that last and final outer zone?
It may have, but it seems to me that it was much farther away from the incident with Lynn. So I don't know that it's going to have a direct impact. It wasn't one of those ones where you saw him correct immediately after Lynn made that mistake. And for certain, that's probably a replay that the judges are going to want to see if it comes into dispute.
All right, looks like they are alternating their positions. We're ready to send it here. Wadman out front and Lynn in the chase position. All right, fellas, if you're going to win, leave it all out on the track. Advance on to top 16. Are we going to get a winner? We already have our first one more time of the 2020 season. Wadman throws up a huge, massive cloud of smoke on that one and only front flip. Now, ooh, dancing in the dirt goes Wadman. Now to that final outside zone. Can Lynn catch up? Looks like he does, but Wadman with a deeper angle, hammering down, throw a brick on it. Wadman crosses that finish line. Ryan, I think that's more definitive of what we are trying to look for. Minimum mistakes, if at all, especially from Wadman getting that clean air out front. Lynn held on loosely, did not let go. So let's take a look at it once again. And the judges scrutinizing these runs. Again, not the prettiest, as somebody would say, on that #1 run, but here is the second run.
Well, Wadman out front this time, and we know that first run is going to have a big impact. Both drivers getting out to that first outside zone. Nice transition there by Wadman in the second, coming up to the inside clip tight here. Lynn trying to hold pace with him. He falls back a little bit here, getting through that final smoke line. Good transition to that final outside zone, just a tiny bit short there from Wadman. So, Jared, you know, it's really going to come down to this first run and whether or not it's an incomplete. And if you're a fan at home, you're asking yourself the question, if it is an incomplete from both drivers, who did better on the second run? That's going to be the deciding factor. And Wadman here really getting deep into that outside zone. Pulls off a little bit early there, allows Lynn to gain a bit more proximity. But overall, this is probably one of the first tough calls of the year.
Yeah, there it is. So here we go. Let's slide him left for Lynn, right for Wadman. All right, one of our American judges, just to clarify, I believe it's Brian Eggert on top. There's Lontaine saying Wadman, and is it unanimous? And it looks like, regardless, Wadman gets the win. Brian Wadman gets the win. He's got that Super Doof kit. So Eggert, you're the bottom or the top? Okay. So we are revisiting the one more time battle between, it was that of Love and Stuke. Love and Stuke. So Love in that E36 and Daniel Stuke. Ryan, one more time for the fans that are tuning in for the first time. They're like, what one more time? They could go multiple times. We've
got to have some sense of majority. You saw there, sometimes you have driver A, driver B. You would have driver A win. In this case, it was one of those really rare ones, a split decision down the board, driver A, driver B, and a one more time call. And we don't often see that. Happens a few times here and there. So we will revisit Josh Love and Daniel Stuke, which I do think this is deserving of a one more time. It was right in that gray area where you could make an argument for both sides. So let's get some clarity and see who's going to move on into the top 16.
And the judges did have that, like you said, they're split right down the middle. Again, one of the judges going with Love. So you spoke to Brian Eggert. Is he the top American or is he the bottom American on the
bottom?
The thing? He's on the bottom. Okay, so again, Chris is on the top. You got Lontaine, the Canadian judge, and then Brian Eggert on the bottom. Here we go with this one more time. We got Love will be leading. Love will show you the way as Daniel Stuke gives chase. Stuke trying to get stoked out here. Where are the Love fans at? Show the love for Love. Transitioning, massive angle there. Like I said, getting the first run jitters out of the way, the first battle jitters. Looks like they're tightening up. Love throwing some more angle at it, really tight to that front flip. Really impressed with how Stuke allows the transition in front of him and then jumps right to the side of Love. Doesn't get all the way out there, but does have that proximity, Ryan. Really exciting. Love, you know what, sometimes I just want to lay out and listen to these hot rods. Look at Love saying, hey, there you go.
Yeah, really loving the natural audio coming in here. It gives you an idea of when these guys are on and off throttle. And obviously that's really important because there's very few areas on this course other than the transitional areas where drivers will make those adjustments. Now let's take a look at Love out front. Gets a good jump here, but Stuke does not want to let him get away. Nice snappy initiation there. Stuke on a slightly tighter line. Love out front, and then Stuke dives in. See that correction from Stuke? Keeping the pressure on. It looks like he's a really great chase driver in terms of proximity. but is he able to match and mimic the line, the transitions? Here, Love again goes deep into that outside zone, pretty much finishes it strong. Stuke is right there with them. But overall, let's take a look at this one more time from this angle here. Through this inside clip, you saw that a little bit of adjustment with the front wheels from Stuke. Getting into that outside zone, Stuke trying to follow the line. He transitions a bit earlier, and it does cause him to be on the inside portion of the line, so not completely following that driver all the way out there, but great job on proximity nonetheless.
Daniel Stuke will now lead. Chris Miller tuning in. Hashtag FDSTL as we are getting prepared as the second half of this one more time battle. Stuke will lead. Love will give chase. Achilles tire, the official tire, Pro 2. Wow, look at Stuke swinging it wide already out of the gate, taking out those cones, now transitioning into that front clip. Both of them just wrapping around, not touching with it at all. Now into that final outside zone, Stuke fills all of it. Definitely want to see the different angle. Love seeing the different angles for the judges' perspective, right? But fresh out of the gate, Ryan, I think, like I said, the nerves potentially got to them on that first battle.
Well, that's a great thing about drifting. You know, these guys are just on the edge of being out of control, and sometimes mistakes happen. This battle, though, from the one more time, both drivers kind of cleaned it up. We're still seeing great proximity. Big initiation there by Stuke out front, dropping those tires. Love, looks like a little bit of a love tap there as they come into the inside clip here. Stuke out front, let's see the line that he draws. Tiny, tiny bit of lack of angle coming into that third outside zone, and Love adjusting well here, closing up that rear section and staying on that line, and that was a little bit of a point of difference there. Seeing back around to this inside clip. Watch Stuke out front, slight little angle adjustment there, but the angle stays pretty locked in there by Love. He gives himself a little bit of room to transition, and then he follows the line pretty well. You can see that Stuke goes into the outside zone a bit late. So Love is trying to make the moves that Stuke is making, and the judges really do appreciate that. So great battle once again, and another tough call.
Yeah, real tough one. Really, like we said, just excited to see drifting, but the Pro 2 gentlemen and ladies stepping up here. Love gets the win. Love does get the win, and it is unanimous. Love gets the win, taking out Daniel Stuke. See if he passes roof one more time, giving some love to his own vehicle there. Great looking E36, and you know what? Stuke should definitely hold his head high for, there it is. Looks like he's beckoning somebody here, but yes, sir. All right, so like I said, Stuke should be stoked. A good battle and a one more time battle between Love and Stuke, and we will advance on to our next pair. Now, Kelsey Rawlings will have a bye into the top 16. And we are scheduled to see Austin Mata and Josh Reynolds. Looks like they are next. And there they are. So from Shakopee, the 650 horsepower versus Josh Reynolds. Now, he is a newcomer here to Formula Drift competition, both these gentlemen. So excited to see what they bring to the table. Some great looking vehicles. Now, Josh Reynolds, his vehicle is actually prepared by the Drift Cave, which is Matt Fields' shop, operating out of the Northern California. Now, Austin Mata will lead as Reynolds gives chase. Now Mata coming into that first outside zone. Oh, wow, both of them getting into the dirt. Reynolds hangs in the dirt way too long, and that will be a mistake for Reynolds. Looks like they were separate incidents. I mean, Mata definitely got out there, but Reynolds got way deeper. That big Snuffleupagus intake there as Mata crosses the finish line. And Reynolds saves it from hitting the wall. We saw a couple drivers really lose it on initiation. So what went wrong there for Reynolds?
Things getting crazy here on this first run. Let's take a look at it from the drone. This will give us a good perspective here. And it got started off to a wild little incident here. Initiation, and you can see in the chase position there that Reynolds just goes way off course. Luckily, he He did not go into the wall there. He was able to save it from sliding on the grass, but at this point, he's probably got an incomplete in the chase position. Let's keep our eyes here on Mata out front. He's able to get through the course, does not incomplete, and he should have a sizable advantage. We know that initiation coming into that first outside zone, Jared, can be challenging for the chase drivers. They've got to get the timing just right, and you hope that Reynolds is not rattled in this position here, can come back and try to lay down a clean lead run, giving himself some kind of opportunity here to move on into the top 16.
All right, so Reynolds will now lead. Reynolds will lead, Mata giving chase. All right, so Reynolds will now lead. Great looking vehicle. Like I said, operating out of Switzerland. So Reynolds will lead. Mata, now he really needs to make up some ground here. Good transition from him. Mata looks like he's playing a little bit safe as Reynolds wide swing, but then tightens it up. We've seen that approach before from different drivers. Mata a little bit of wavering in the chase position. Now in the outside zone, a straight line approach, and Reynolds goes into the dirt. Looking more rallycross than drift for both of the vehicles.
So Mata this time, our chase driver, Reynolds out front. Let's see what happens here. Gets through the chicane, comes down, initiates just right before that third standing cone. Doesn't really get out to the outside zone. Mata was anticipating that he was gonna be there. Great job on that second outside zone. Sweeping through the final inside clip, one and only. Little bit of wavering there. Same in the background there.
But this is where it goes really wrong for Reynolds, man.
Right here, he's just angled out.
Oof.
And is not able to pull through there. It looks like the momentum was being held in the lead position, so that could be an incomplete there.
Yeah, Reynolds, you know, you got to remember he had that mistake on his first run. I'm assuming the super doofed out S14 will get the win here, but let's make it official. Mata and Reynolds, both these newcomers to Pro 2 competition. Slide them left for Mata, right for Reynolds, awaiting the judge's verdict. Again, Chris on the top, Ryan Lontaine, the Canadian judge, and Brian Eggert, the final judge of the three. So we're sliding them left for Mata or right for Reynolds. Who's advancing on? The winner will be going against Kelsey Rawlings, a repeat customer out here for Formula Drift Pro 2 competition. As Sopa, our starter, and it looks like Mata gets the win. So he does officially get the win. Reynolds is knocked out. Austin Mata gets the win and advances on. You have the S14. You can see that wide body 2F performance kit. So Mata gets the win. Slide him left. Let's make it official. As Lontaine says as well. And Brian Eggert said Mata as well. So it was unanimous. Just getting that clarification. And look at that, another E36. Nice low-key, mellow vibe. Just got the sponsors. All right, so you can see the graphic there. Josh Robinson has a bye run. Fortunately for him, as he drew number 7, so he's to go against number 26. But as Ryan said earlier, 21 drivers advancing Pro 2 into a top 32 format, but with 21 vehicles showing up, we have a considerable amount of bye runs. Derrick Madison versus Chase Schmidt. So Derrick Madison from right here in St. Louis. This is his home track, or the track closest to his home, I should say. About the same age, 240SX of Derrick Madison. He is a repeat customer. Chase Schmidt is from Snoqualmie, Washington. He is excited. He hangs out with the Readers and the Hughes and the P&W boys. Shaka bro, got a D-Hugh up in the building here. I'm gonna have some words with the Royal Purple Pro Championship driver in just a little bit. But right now, Madison versus Schmidt. This is our final battle, Ryan. This is our final battle of 32. So we're gonna have a break in between 32 and 16. Madison out front, Schmidt in the chase position. Let's see how these guys fare. Madison, new livery. Let's see if it brings him any luck. Transitioning around, Chase Schmidt tempering the flame. Good job by him. And a massive mistake by Madison going to that third outside zone. Transitions into the last one. Chase Schmidt looks like he did kind of an opposite trip there. That was a late flick by Chase Schmidt. I think he got hung up, and he might have gotten hung out to dry. Let's take a look at it again there. I was kind of focusing on Derrick, and you saw Chase Schmidt just slide into those DMs there. Let's look at it once again from a different angle.
Well, Madison started off pretty solidly here, Jared. Schmidt was trying to chase him down and then had a mistake. So let's take a look at it again. Gets that initiation, pretty wide in that outside zone. Great job there. Now Schmidt trying to close up the gap. Transitions nicely. Madison looking good. Great angle, locked in on that inside clip. Now moving out, and look at that big understeer there. And luckily Schmidt adjusts. It doesn't affect him too much, but it's a huge mistake for Madison out front on an otherwise beautifully lead run here. Beautifully done lead run. Taking a look at the drone, and you can see right there that just big correction causing problems for Madison out front. Schmidt, not the greatest chase, but he was able to stay in it. The mistake did not affect him too much. And now we'll switch things up here, Jared, with Chase Schmidt going to the lead and Derrick Madison chasing him down.
Yeah, getting a lot of fans tuning in and watching. Hashtag FDSTL. Got a few fans. Again, if you like to communicate, again, we have, like I said, limited people here in the building, but we have a worldwide footprint. So if you're watching from home, tag myself or Ryan Sage and hashtag FDSTL. Chase Schmidt now out front. Derrick Madison in that chase position. Schmidt initiates into that first outer zone, filling all of it. You can see him throwing up some dirt. Oh, and a correction by Schmidt. Shuts it down. Oh, looks like a restart's coming. Okay, yeah, we are getting word, so that was not a mistake. They both shut it down because that is a restart. So thankfully caught them, so they do have enough tires. As Ryan, we are all right. So as these guys head back to the start line, getting prepared for this restart. Ryan, what unfolded there? I heard you talking to Pat.
Yeah, just talking to race control. It looks like there was a jump from the lead driver, which that is not allowed. The chase driver can leave the start line whenever he or she would like, giving themselves, you know, an ample opportunity to kind of figure out whether or not, if they're a slower car, they need a little bit of time to try to get up to speed. In this particular case, it was the lead driver that jumped the light, so we've got to start it over.
Ryan, what have you been doing since hair spots have been closed?
It's been hard. I've had to self-manicure.
I mean, it looks good, though. I mean, you've done a great job maintaining it.
Thank you, thank you.
Your eyebrows are on fleek. They look great. All right, here we go. So the restart here once again from Madison and Schmidt. And again, this is our final battle of what is to be top 32 is top 21. So Schmidt out front. Madison looks like we got a clean start. Here we go. Schmidt in that first outside zone. Madison not as deep as Schmidt. Let's see how they handle into the second zone. Nice and clean. Very fluid line there for both the drivers. Schmidt dancing in the dirt. A lot of the drivers getting out there. See the little brown cloud. Down to that final outer zone. Schmidt. Whoa, buddy. Man. Hook, line, and sinker. He was deep diving on that outside zone. Talking about Schmidt.
Yeah,
Ryan.
If you're Schmidt spotter, you're telling him, look, Madison had a big mistake in the lead position. You got to really focus on this lead run here because your chase was pretty decent. He does a pretty good job on that first outside zone. You can see Madison struggles, does not get out to the same line as him. Good transition back around. Madison pouring on the pressure here, but Schmidt back on the throttle, and look at the smoke line. Very big smoke line coming off there, staying on throttle. We don't want to see the drivers drop any tires into the turf area, and right there you can see Schmidt goes about 2 tires off into that section of the course, and there will be a little bit of a mistake there, but remember, it was a huge understeer for Madison. Basically an incomplete there. I would imagine that the judges would think that. So he goes 2 tires off. If he went 3 off, you know, now we're talking about close to an incomplete, but it looks like just 2 there, so he may be safe on this second run.
So good to be back here, Ryan. So stoked.
Yeah, me too. It's been a stress ball for 6 months. So.
Slide him left for Madison or right for Chase Schmidt. Looks like Chris says Chase. Lontaine says Chase Schmidt, and Chase Schmidt gets the win He is advancing on into the top 16, and it is unanimous as Brian Eggert sides with the other two judges as well. Ryan, do you agree with that call?
Yeah, I think it was the right call. It was definitely an incomplete for Schmidt in his run, which is very sad because he looked very promising up until that point. He made a quick readjustment, but a mistake like that, going to an incomplete, it's really hard to overcome. You actually need the other driver to incomplete on his run, so it's a tough challenge there, but